Hello and welcome to another episode here on my channel. My name is ChaosMole and today we want to talk about the Warhammer 40k Darktide loot system because, well, if you've already played this game, then you probably know that there are some crippling issues with the loot system in the game. And, well, if you haven't played it yet, then strap yourself in because you will learn probably a lot here. So what we will do in this video is pretty simple. First, we will talk about how the loot system in this game works. Then we talk about the problems, and then I will hopefully offer some solutions or some ideas which could be changed to make the loot system in the game a little bit more interesting. And let's talk about the loot system itself. What do we have? Well, we have 3 ways right now of obtaining the loot. 4 if you want to count the crafting system into this, but because you're not really obtaining loot but just upgrading your loot, it's not really about obtaining your loot but like how you utilize your loot in a better way. We will definitely talk about the crafting here in the video, but let's focus on the 3 loot systems which there are in the game right now. The first one is pretty straightforward. It is called the Emperor's Gift, and you are getting it by chance every other game. Like, you can have 10 games where you are getting 10 gifts, or you can have 10 games where you are absolutely getting nothing. And then you are just getting that item into your inventory and you can use it. The second way on how to get your items is the Armory Exchange, which is right here, and you are just getting some items here and you can buy them with your Imperial dockyards, aka the gold, and then you're just getting the items you want. And of course, the third way of getting your loot is through Sir Melk's Requisitorium. And you have to do some dailies and you have to collect your special currency to then buy the items which are in the shop. And that is the third way on how you are getting your things. Pretty simple, right? So, with that said, let's have a look at the ways on how to obtain loot a little bit more in detail and why there is a problem. Why is there a problem? So let's talk about the Emperor's Gift. As I said, the Emperor's Gift is something you are just getting by playing the game. And there is a random chance that at the end of a mission, you will get an item. The problem is, it is complete random. You have zero control about what you are getting. And also when you are getting. That means you can play like 10 games, as I said, without getting a single item, and then you are getting something green or, well, even something gray as a reward, and that feels pretty weak. Like, let me give you an example. Last week on my live stream, I had 4 runs, and I got 4 epics out of it. I kid you not. I think I got this chainsword, the heavy sword, I got the revolver and the bolter. Those were the 2s I was getting from this. And I was like, wait, what? While my teammates, some community members of mine, didn't get anything. They didn't get a single items while I got 4 epics. That's pretty rough, to say the least. And as I said, it's not even guaranteed that you are getting exalted items or anything. Like, as I said, you can get a green or even gray item out of it, and it is completely random when you get it, and it is completely random what the perks are, it is completely random what the rating is, and what the stats are. And what people are now starting to do is, because they have also realized that the level of the mission you are in does not matter at all. You have the same chance of getting an exalted weapon or a mastercrafted weapon, which is a legendary, right, out of a level 1 mission as much as you are having that chance on a level 5 mission, which is completely bonkers when you think about it, right? It's this, wait a minute, I can run a level 1 mission, 100% guarantee I will manage to win this, and it would take me about 50 minutes, and then can get a mastercrafted item out of it. or I'm running a level 5 mission where I'm not even sure I will survive this, and it will take about 30 minutes or more because we have to move pretty slowly with our team composition. Which one will I take? Right, like you already know the answer what people are doing. They are running level 1 missions without any problems, and they're just trying to get at least some items out of it. And I will be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if they are changing that very soon with an upcoming patch, and you have at least have to run like level 3 or 4 missions to get a master crafted items, that there is at least some sort of like difficulty involved in it, right? So there's the first way. And I know what you were saying here, Mo, this is just the top of the iceberg. The gift of the Emperor is not really there to give you all the items all the time you need. That is not really what the whole thing is for. And I agree on that. I totally agree on that. So let's talk about the first merchant you are unlocking, and that is the Armory Exchange, right? So every hour, what you can buy here will reset. There is no way to get this hour go past faster. Some people have tried a lot of things to see if they can maybe somehow force the change in the item store, and also more importantly what's in the item store, but the reality is there was nothing they could have done. So you always have to wait an hour, and I think this is already the biggest problem. You have to wait an hour before you can buy something new. It's not the currency. Like, even right now, you can see that I'm at like 600 dockets, and I would need 17,000. That's like a level 3 mission very quickly. And then I should be good. Or a level 4 mission. So it's not really that hard to get the money for this. It's really like you have to wait an hour, and then you have no control what is showing up. You don't have control about the item level. You don't have control about the rarity, even though, as far as I know, you cannot get any epics in here. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I've never seen an epic in the store, ever. So I'm pretty sure you cannot get any epics, any exalted weapons in this store. But yeah, like as I said, you have no control about what they are offering, and then you just have to hope that you are finding a weapon with the right stats. And of course the weapon which is like mostly working in your playstyle, right? So that is a little bit annoying, because that means, let's say you have been waiting for 3 hours and you got nothing. That means you have waited for 3 hours without getting anything for the money you have farmed, and then the moment you are logging out, you might get something really good in a shop, but you will not see it because, well, you are not there. So what also a lot of people are starting to do is they are also taking a look at the green and the gray items, and they are just hoping that there are some pretty big modifiers on the weapon, and then they are taking that modifier and they are upgrading the weapon and hope that they are getting some good perks out of it by upgrading the weapon. Which I think is alright, but because you cannot really modify any of the perks you are getting by upgrading the weapon, it's a gamble. And it's not really a rewarding gamble, in my opinion, or it doesn't really feel like that. But again, we will talk about crafting here in just a minute, because it is a very important part of the loot issue. Now, let's talk about the last one here, which has a similar issue actually. And that is, of course, the Requisitorium. And you have to do the quests, right? You have to do those weekly contracts. And when you are all done with them, you will probably get around 1,500 to 2,000 of the special items, right? And then you have to wait multiple hours again before this resets. I think this is resetting daily, if I'm not completely wrong. I think it's resetting daily. And you have to be lucky. So you have to wait multiple days before you are getting something. And of course, you need the currency for that. So you have to farm for a week to maybe, if you are lucky, finding a transcendent weapon. And then the weapon has to be good. And as I said, it's rough. It's really, really rough. And it doesn't feel rewarding because, well, you have to farm the currency. And let's say you have a really good item in the shop, like the axe here, and you just realize, well, shoot, this is resetting in 4 hours. I will not get that currency together in just 4 hours. This weapon will disappear, and getting this weapon again will take probably weeks. So it's kind of a little bit disheartening that you don't really have like a chance to really just get a weapon which can give you a huge improvement in your playstyle. And this brings us to crafting. So as you know, crafting right now is not fully implemented. The only thing you can do in crafting is you can upgrade, right? You can consecrate a weapon and then upgrade it to the higher rarity than before, and that will cost you quite a bit of items. But the problem with that is you are missing refine the item, earn a blessing, or re-bless an item, right? You are completely missing that, and that's the biggest problem here, I think. When you are looking at the problem we have right now with getting items and the item system, there's a lot of randomness in that whole system. Like, a lot of randomness. Every single thing I've mentioned has some random component in it. And normally you could say that, okay, well, but at least I can go to the crafting station and take away some of this randomness I got in my items. The problem is, that's not possible right now. You can't. So, that sucks. And I think this is one of the features they have to get into the game as quickly as possible. This is one of the things how they can alleviate the item issue right now. Like, give us the rest of the crafting stuff. If we would get this would make things so much easier for us who are playing this game. Because then, even if we have some random stuff coming up, we can still argue that, okay, well, then I go to the crafting machine and I'm refining my items and make sure that the item is actually at the point where it becomes useful to me. But right now we can already do that. Everything we are doing is randomness. And even if we are consecrating an item, every time we are consecrating it, we have no choice on the blessings, on the perks. So even if we find a weapon with really, really good stats on it, and we are like, hey, this is a keeper, and we are running to the crafting and we are consecrating it, it's still completely random, and if we are unlucky, afterwards the weapon is not really that great anymore. So I'm really, really hoping that those things are coming as quickly as possible. The next thing they could do to make it a little bit better, take away some randomness. Like maybe give us more choice on how we are gaining a weapon, or give us more resources. Give us more stuff through the Emperor's Gift. Make it a higher difficulty, but then give us more. So that even if it is completely random, it is such an amount of items that sooner or later you will have some pretty high chance that you will get the item you need, right? And I'm not talking about best in slot items. I'm not talking about weapons where all the modifiers have to be 100% or some bullshit like that. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is having a meaningful upgrade which you really need to push the game forward, right? And if they don't want to completely rework how you obtain items, by the way, if they want to do that, be my guest, because as I said, I think you could find like a better system instead of like putting in 3 merchants who are just, or 2 merchants plus 1 random item after a mission, which is completely random, right? If you want to completely overhaul that system, please be my guest. But I think the fastest way to alleviate some of the pressures we players feel would be give us all the crafting stuff and maybe give us some more items we can obtain faster. Maybe you change the shop to like 35 minutes or so, right? Like there are ways on how you can make the loot system better right now. But the loot system, how it is right now in the game, is pretty tedious and not very rewarding, all things considered. Well, of course, if you're super lucky, then you will think very different about it. But even I, whom I consider lucky, I can very much understand where the problem lies. But with that said, we are at the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think about the loot system down below in the comment. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to like. And if you're new to the channel, you want to see more Warhammer 40k Darktide content, please don't forget to subscribe. We are also streaming here on the channel from Monday to Friday, starting at 8 AM ET. And we are playing, of course, a lot of Darktide, but we are also playing some Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader Alpha right now, which is the new CRPG in the Warhammer 40k universe by Owlcat. With that said, folks, thank you so much for watching, stay safe, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.